on the rise, and it's becoming more and more organized with women's organizations like AIDWA that have very successfully intervened in Haryana especially, you know. So yeah.
Now, the village elders kind of declare that tradition and culture helps fester peace, when ironically it's the same thing that motivates them to do the opposite. They perpetrate crime in the name of culture and tradition. Now, why do you think they don't see the irony in it?
They're fully aware of they're fully aware of the fact that they're lying. Okay, be under no misconception.
But
I just, in fact, gave you these examples some time back where they're talking about how equality is something that's so strongly threatened.
yeah,
Right? So they do not see the irony. Very often in the panchayats, for example, in some cases that are there in the film also, they have blatantly lied to raise a controversy.
and
Right.
they also blatantly make a declaration that people would be meeting such harsh consequences.
On some occasions, not always. In
Yeah,
the
of
Vedpal
course.
case, they did.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, you know, so yeah, there is be under no misconception that they don't see what they're doing and that they're not aware of what they're doing. They are fully aware of what they're doing. When they say that ultimately what is being done is there is this kind of power politics that is being played out in the name of tradition, in the name of culture.
Okay, and these village elders, these panchayat elders, were they not afraid of the ramifications for these crimes that they perpetrated, or did they feel that the society would actually help them suppress it?
Yeah, but you have to understand one thing, right? That they always claim that we are not responsible for any killings.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that
Officially.
but that's the whole point, right? See, you have to understand two things. On the one hand, that there is, Khap panchayats are very rarely actually given, I mean, they have on some occasions in the Vedpal case or in the Manoj Babli case and in a few other cases where they've directly given a diktat to kill.
Okay.
Right? But in most cases, that's not how they function anyway. They don't usually give direct diktats to kill. What they instead do is try and create this atmosphere, and they try and build this kind of societal pressure through various means, wherein then very often the family is left with no choice but to carry out a killing, to regain the space in society, you know, where you become the butt of all jokes. If your daughter elopes, you're boycotted. You're cornered into, and you know, and you have to understand that in a village scenario where this sense of community is a lot stronger, when your lifelines of these kinds start getting cut off through, you know, social economic boycotts and so on, there's very often, like you said, you're cornered into carrying out the killing. Very often the family is not very happy doing this. But but at the same time, in cases where there's been ample evidence against people like Gangaraj and Pavanjit Banwala from the Banwala Khap. You've seen this in the film. Both of them, there was ample evidence, and in fact Pavanjit Banwala is actually declaring that Vedpal is going to be killed. And in spite of that, he's been acquitted. So clearly there is, and Gangaraj was acquitted in the High Court in the Manoj Babli case. So clearly I don't think there is
much resistance.
Yeah, I think that there hasn't been a proper implementation of the judicial. How do I put it? I just think that there hasn't been a proper the law enforcing agencies somewhere.
As you said, they go hand in hand.
Sometimes, and I think the law enforcing agencies haven't really done their job particularly well. and I mean, clearly there's no fear of the law enforcing agencies. There's no fear of the law, because those who are supposed to enforce it, both in the Manoj Babli case and in the Vedpal case, we know about the police involvement in these cases as well. In the Vedpal case, he'd gone there with police protection when he was killed.
Okay, now when you mostly screen your films, it must be in colleges and in educational institutions, so the audience must primarily consist of people who are actually against the system and the phenomenon itself. But have you found any success in being able to screen films in these belts which are under the Khap rule?
First of all, I think we should not be under any misconception that just because these films are being screened in urban colleges, We faced.
That was actually going to be my next question.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot of. I mean, mind you, people from we've screened in several colleges in Delhi University, but there've been many Jat students, and there've been very mixed reactions. Some of them have reacted very positively and have been very happy with the film. At the same time, there have been many who've been very upset with the film.
Okay.
And these are young boys who very aggressively sort of who very aggressively sort of
have faith in the
have
system.
faith in the system and have been very happy supporting. I mean, have very vociferously sort of spoken about how they support the Cubs and how they support existing traditional structures and existing societal hierarchies. So at the same time, there have been many who've been critical of this. But if you talk about screenings in Haryana, yes, there's been one screening in Kaithal. We've been trying to organize more screenings in other parts of the of Haryana as well. But there's been one screening in Kaithal, which has been a very successful screening, which was quite incredible because we had amazing, incredible reactions where people from within the community, people from Kaithal, one by one, everyone spoke for and against the film, you know, and there were varied reactions, including reactions from the women in Kaithal. So it was really great.
So we can infer from that statement that education is not just enough to eradicate the system, because even in college, students in fact are reacting much the same way as you'd expect the people in the carpet to. So
no, I'm saying I'm not sort of painting those reactions in a uniform brush or something.
But we get the general sentiment.
No, I'm saying it's been varied. I'm saying there's been ambivalence also. I'm saying the people have reacted. People have reacted both for and against, even among students. By and large, a large majority of the students have been have come out strongly in favor of the film, and especially the young women. A lot of them could relate to what was happening in the film. They were. I mean, at the same time, I'm saying there are students who had major problems with the film.
So obviously, education wasn't enough to.
Absolutely. Now what? Absolutely. But at the same, yeah. I mean, I think we need to broaden this understanding and the purview of education. Education. I mean, when I talk about education, I'm not just talking about education as a structured classroom concept, but
which inculcates ethics and.
So exactly. I mean, you got to think of education as beyond that, as a system that that encourages you to ask questions, as a system that raises questions, it encourages you to ask questions about society, about the way things are around you, and I'm also talking about education as a broader concept in the sense of exposure. I mean, exposure and awareness. These are important concepts that are supposed to come in with. I mean, this is really what completes your education, in my opinion.
True.
And it's really this kind of exposure and awareness that a lot of these young girls who are resisting and are transgressing, it's really a lot of these values and these things that are coming their way, which is making them resist.
Okay. So, what other factors do you think might help alleviate the situation?
It's not going to happen overnight, and there's no clear. But I think what's very important is for people to get organized. Is an organized resistance against this. You see, there are shades of that organized resistance that have already started, and which one can already see in Haryana. And I think that's growing. And if you've seen, like even in the film, a young girl like Mukesh who finally then leaves home, not to get married to a man of her choice, but she leaves home to become an activist. And that's how she starts her new life. So and yes, that sort of an organized resistance is definitely growing. More and more young women are also getting involved with.
This was an enlightening interview with filmmaker Nakul Sahni. Sir, it was a pleasure to you.
Thank you.